For those of you who are joining us this week for the first time, we've begun each of our virtual Learning Lab sessions with a cultural grounding by an Indigenous artist. And so I encourage you to revisit the recordings of the cultural groundings from our past two sessions featuring Joel Garcia and Ashley Minner. But today we are so fortunate to be joined by Autumn Whiteeyes to lead our cultural grounding. Raised on the Pine Ridge Reservation, Autumn is Oglala Lakota and Turtle Mountain Band of an Anishinaabe, a queer, two-spirit femme spoken word artist and arts educator. They have been recognized as a 2018 to 2019 member of the Intercultural Leadership Institute and a recipient of the South Dakota Arts Council's 2019 Artist Career Development Grant. And most recently published their debut collection of poetry, Instructed by Ha-Wee, which means the moon. Autumn works with Lakota youth poets as a program manager of youth development at First Peoples Fund. And now, Autumn, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Pilamaya, thank you, Jen. That was a beautiful grounding and land acknowledgement. Hami takyapi, Autumn Whiteeyes and machiapi, wazi ahaha and mataha, chante washte chuzapi kshto. I said, hello, relatives. My name is Autumn Whiteeyes. I'm from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And I greet you all with a heartfelt virtual handshake as we can in these times. And I'm based on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation right now on my homelands. And I just want to also acknowledge the Native peoples and Native lands and the unceded territory of the United States or Turtle Island, north and south of the border as well. And encourage all the participants to research the Native lands that you are on, and where those Indigenous people are now, because we are still alive and still thriving. As mentioned in my introduction, I'm Oglala Lakota on my father's side, and I'm Turtle Mountain Anishinaabe on my mother's side, as well as French and German. And today for our cultural grounding, I wanted to share my own relationship to land and place. And so I'm going to do that by sharing two poems today. One is from my new book. Thank you, Courtney. And then another one is a brand new poem. And then leave you all with some reflection questions to think through. So Jasmine, I want to ask if I could share my slides. And so I like to be conscious that everyone has different accessibility needs. So I have the writing to my poem here if you'd like to read along. And so I'm going to go ahead and perform this now. These are the stories the land remembers. Makoche ki wo oyake ki lena kiksuyepi. I remember in this land you can see every star. The Milky Way shines brightly against prairies. When we look up, we see our ancestors. Remember the stories of the seven sisters, Star Boy shining down on us. We follow the stars across Hesapa, the Black Hills, when it's time to pray. Remember the sweet songs of crickets and birds, Lakotia, Woglogapi, they speak Lakota here. Remember the red clay walls and the mullein that grows from the Ia, the sage as tall as our knees, the gentle buzz and the sun beating down. We remember when the Washichu came, they tried to steal it all, the language, the land, the ceremonies, the bundles, the families, the cosmology, the art. Digged a mass grave, cut the hair of our children, beat them, so we couldn't pass on what we had left. Massacred the buffalo, our life source, skulls and hides stacked up to the sky, held on to what we could. Now we stay and protect what is left. Tatanka finding their way back to the reservation, Mato returning to Hesapa too, our children speaking Lakota language with our grandparents. Like our relatives, we are returning. The land remembers us. Standing grounded to the earth, feet press the surface like a string, lifting through the top of my head. The air is full and breath goes through me. Easy. When our ancestors said, take courage, Blihichia, only they knew how much struggle there would be because they lived through it. 1,000 times worse for the same thing. Our land, our water, our lives. It feels like putting your body on the line to protect everything sacred. Tashunka Witko said, every day is a good day to die. Will you give up everything so everyone south of the rivers can have access to clean water? Chain your bodies to the machine and pray it will stop the construction of the black snake beneath her skin. Menomen, Pasi, the wild rice tastes like the rivers and lakes it comes from. Will you stop it from tasting like oil? The land will remember. And then I could go ahead and go to the next slide. And so this is an older poem, and it's also featured in my collection of poetry, and it's called Mitakwe Oyase. In Lakota culture, Mitakwe Oyase is a prayer that we say that means we are all related, or it's an acknowledgement of all of our relatives. Mitakwe Oyase. 1. On August 20th, 2013, I left the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation for New York City, flew into a city where lights on towers looked brighter than the sun. I went through a week of disillusionment. I saw people walk by one another that they will never know, hundreds of people turning the other cheek, and I wondered, if I was ever hurt, would they come to me? Would they come to me? I saw gardens between buildings with plants desperately trying to find a way to the sun, wondering what they would feel if they had a home like mine. 2, my home. My home is all the air in the sky. It's sunsets that mount my heart into a serenity of sanctuary. I could write you 1,000 poems of its beauty. I could tell you about my cousins playing basketball next to Sacred Heart Church, the thunder that booms against the windows while it's raining, and sing to you the songs of my ancestors that I once sang, while picking sage in the prairie, taking only enough of what we needed and saying a prayer to thank it for its sacrifice. That Nipi is one of my favorite places. We return to mother's womb like retreating to our beds when we are feeling unsafe. The heat rolling off my back doesn't feel painful, and the sweat rolling off my skin doesn't burn as it should. I pray for tomorrow's day, my grandmother's health, and the future of the children. My mother holds my hand next to me as Unchi Maka teaches me how to breathe again, and we sing. 3. In the Black Hills of South Dakota, Matotipila stands before us, watching over the land, the people, above the sky, letting us know she is the closest to Creator. When I was a senior in high school, I prayed at this sacred site. Watch rock climbers try to desecrate her as we tried to pray. I never thought I could feel sorry for a white person. Never thought I could ask an unknowing question. What tribe are you? If you look back far enough, you could remember, look inside, and you will find you are a person of the earth once too. I watched them climb, wrapping their legs and arms against Mother Nature, trying to feel the spirit that has held my hand in the darkest and lightest nights. I realized they were searching for our grandmother, for family, and the earth they will return to, for Unchi Maka, grandmother earth. Our earth is in crisis. She is crying for our empathy, feeling us strip away her nutrients, cutting down her mountains for mining, drilling for natural gas, and building a black snake beneath her skin, until her blood becomes the same color as oil, till her resources run clean. Like humans, she cannot function without her organs. Mini Wichoni, water is life. She isn't happy with us. Our family isn't happy with us, and like a grandmother who isn't happy with us, I'll try to make her proud. I'll try to do what I can. Mitakwe oyase. We are all related. And then we could go to the next slide. And so I think I have only 1 minute left. So I just wanted to leave you all with these questions as reflection in your work and all the amazing work that you're all doing in different places. And hoping that you can also reflect on your relationship to land and place and art and how we do those really important work with our communities. Where do you call home? Where are the lands you are in relation to? And how do you relate to the land? And so I just wanted to leave you all with these questions. I could put them in the chat as well if you want to take time to reflect on that. But I just want to say thank you for having me and wanted to say congratulations on all the incredible work you all are doing. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic now to Dr. Curtis.
Thank you so much for your offerings today, Autumn. Such a deeply powerful and beautiful way to start us off today. Really appreciate your poetry, and I really appreciate your call to both call us in and also allow us to reflect.